And it's time once again for Velvet Owl watches movies so you don't have to. Looks like my audience at some point has like nearly quadrupled to like 11 people. Um, the website said they were experiencing technical difficulties, so I think that those new people actually were listening to something else and accidentally got credited to me. But I'll take it because I get those pennies either way. So, but if I really am up to 11 viewers, I love you people, and I hope I'm not letting you down. Although by the time this one airs, those 11 people will probably have already left. But we're done with holiday movies, and we're getting back to just your run of the mill terrible movies. This week, I'm watching Invasion of the Bee Girls. 70s, I think, drive-through film. I'm watching it on an app called Drive-In Classics. So I'm guessing it was a movie that played in the drive-in, or at least the type of movie that gets played at the drive-in. It's the description is a powerful cosmic force is turning Earth women into queen bees who kill men by wearing them out sexually. Which, if you have to die, that is a good way to die. Unless they physically are bees, then, Although, I mean, if you're killing men, aren't there, like, other insects? Like, insects that actually do kill their mates? Like, why aren't they turned into, like, praying mantises or something? Actually, don't male bees die after they mate? I don't know. I did not, pay that much attention to planet Earth. So I don't know. Or Ice Earth. Or any of those, like, you know, animal, like those fancy 4K animal documentaries with David Attenborough narrating, which are pretty good, but I generally only watch the episodes that deal with Under the Sea because there's just a lot of freaky shit at the bottom of the sea, and I love those. They look just so cool and awesome. I did once read a comic called Bee Vixens from Mars. I don't know if that was based on this film, like loosely based on the idea, possibly. It's been a while since I've read that comic, so I wouldn't really be able to say like how close it is to this film. It's probably just taken the idea of like bee women from another planet. So I don't know, but I don't think this has anything to do with the Jerry Seinfeld cartoon Bee Movie, though I think someone should combine the two. Anyhow, enough rambling. Let me press play. Movie gets into it right off the bat. It starts off in a hotel, and the maid finds that one of the guests is dead. Dead! Ah! And then we get the intro music, which is some pretty groovy 70s music. So it's kind of like, I think that's the way with all like 70s exploitation films. It was kind of like they'd have those intro credits with just a really groovy or funky song playing, and you're like, yeah, this gets me in the mood. I'm not sure what the mood for. But then the sheriff, who looks like Ron Jeremy, and normally I would, then just use that to refer to him for the rest of the film, but Ron Jeremy is a piece of shit, so fuck that. I don't think this guy deserves to be slung down with Ron Jeremy. I don't know, I mean, the guy playing the sheriff could be a piece of shit himself, but I'm just going to refer to him as sheriff. I will give him that respect. And he's interviewing people, see if they knew anything. And the only thing that's known is the guy next door heard a humming coming from the room. Like, he thinks it's the TV, but I think it was a bee humming. Though bees buzz. But it kind of sounds like a hum, I guess, if you're in the other room. Then the FBI agent, and that I'm not sure why, but an FBI agent shows up because he's going to investigate into it because the government wants to keep an eye on things. I don't know why. I must have misheard or not heard, or maybe they didn't explain whatsoever why the government would take any interest in like just a random like I don't know if the guy that died is like a government agent, that's the only thing I can figure for why the FBI would get involved and like look into why he died, which seems to be of a heart attack. But the sheriff gets a call. There's another murder. I mean, not murder, just death by heart failure or something. I don't know why, like, they're all, like, making it seem like, this is weird, something's going on. 2 people died of apparent heart failure. It happens. I mean, I guess maybe because it's a small town, like, oh no! We're very healthy here. People don't die of heart attacks. The FBI agent goes to visit the dead guy's secretary. Apparently he was working on some biological warfare paper or research or something. So I guess, yeah, the FBI wants to make sure that he wasn't murdered. So he's questioning the secretary, and turns out that, you know, she and her boss, who's married to someone else, went to dinner to discuss work, then had dessert, went back to the hotel, and actual quote, this is what she said, that they bawled and bawled and bawled and bawled and bawled until he dropped dead. It's a lot of fucking bawling. He's a fucking baller. Was that a term, like, back in, like, the 70s for fucking? Like, he balled her. Because I've never really heard it, but there was an episode of Dream On where the main character, what was his name? I forget. I know the actor was named Brian. Martin. I'm pretty sure the character's name was Martin. So he meets up this guy that had known his mom from long ago, and he told her, like, oh, I used to ball her. And Martin goes all crazy, like, oh no, this guy fucked my mom. And then the guy's like, yeah, I took her ballroom dancing. And Martin's like, oh, thank God. And then the guy's like, oh, I fucked her afterwards, but I took her ballroom dancing first. So maybe that dead guy and his secretary, they went ballroom dancing, and then ballroom dancing, and then ballroom dancing, and then they fucked, and then he dropped dead. Then this guy and girl are riding dirt bikes naked, and then they get off them and go fuck in the field and roll down a hill, oddly. But, important, we got boobs well under the first 15 minutes. I think within the first 10 minutes. So, this film passes the Velvet Owl test. I wish I had, like, a buzzer or something. Maybe I should start, like, carrying, like, a buzzer and just press it anytime, like, a film passes the Velvet Owl test of having boobs within the first 15 minutes. But, hooray! This film passes that test. So after they fuck, or maybe, like, I guess kind of in the middle of fucking, the guy drops dead, and the girl walks away, and you hear the buzzing hum. I guess she's a B-girl, and she balled him to death. Now, FBI agent is talking with the secretary, and she's pretty much telling him how there's kind of really nothing to do in town except to fuck. And then we go to a fuck club, I guess, and this girl, like, she gets naked. She leaves her underwear on. That's okay. I guess this film isn't about full frontal nudity, but you see her boobs, and that's the important part. And she's about to get it on when suddenly a guy, like, reaches out behind her, grabs her boobs, and then he screams because the guy that she was gonna bang is now dead next to her. Or maybe it was someone else that just happened to be dead. You know, I think I kind of would like that better. Or maybe there was a plan for a threesome. Because the idea if the guy that she was gonna fuck is dead, then who the fuck is this other guy that just randomly from behind grabbed her boobs? I don't know. Because it kind of seemed like she wasn't expecting it. So, but I hope it was a consensual boob grabbing. And, I don't know, now, my mind is running with possibilities of what the fuck just happened here. So I'm gonna say that it was supposed to be a threesome and one of the guys is dead. They were gonna double team her. They're gonna split roast her or Eiffel Tower her or whatever the kids say these days. Some guys at the club are talking about, what happened with the guy, their colleague that died, and they're talking about how that would be a great way to die because you'd be coming and going at the same time. Hardy har har. But like I said, yeah, I mean, if you're gonna have to die, there's worse ways to die. Personally, if I was gonna die, I would want to die by having my neck snapped by Famke Janssen's thighs. Ever since I saw that James Bond movie, which one was it? GoldenEye? I don't know. Who cares? It was one of the James Bond movie. She was Xenia on the top and crush her head between her thighs. And ever since then, that is the way I want to die. So, being killed by these B-girls, I guess, is, a nice second place of how you're going to die. And then, the FBI agent's going to go talk to this other scientist. But he gets to the scientist's lab, and the scientist is naked on the floor. Dead! The B-girls must have gotten to him. Now, there's a car broken down, and a police officer stops by and says, "Oh, do you need some help?" And the woman there says, "Why, yes, officer, I do." Then the buzzing hum. He's dead. And now everyone's just kind of in a tizzy. The law enforcement and FBI guys, the ones that know, oh my God, there's 8 people dead, and they're all guys, and they've all died of sexual exhaustion. So they rally the townsfolk, and they hold a town meeting, because they got to deal with this. They have to try to figure out a plan of how they're going to stop all these people from dying. And not people, men. Because that's what's most important. If it was only women dying, it probably wouldn't be as, a big a priority, because, they're fucking assholes here. And they're like, we can lose some women. I don't even know what the hell type of accent I was going for there. But yeah, and then they mention, it's sexual exhaustion. And everyone laughs, ho, well, what a way to go. And then the doctor starts saying, venereal disease has swelled. Ha, 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 and everyone laughs because they're in 3rd grade. And, I mean, I admit it, I probably would also laugh if if I was somewhere and they were speaking about sexual deaths and things like that, and they said swelled. So the doctor says that, everyone should refrain from sex. Well, really just the guys. I guess the women could get it on with each other. Because so far, there's no reports of women dying from sexual exhaustion, because, women can last longer. They can keep going for a while. Men, 30 seconds, squirt, we're done. At least from my personal experience. 30 seconds, squirt, and then done. Women could probably keep going on forever, so they won't die from sexual exhaustion. Of course, the men will not have this. They're like, "Rrr, rrr, rrr. We want to keep balling our wives." So at least, this guy, he's in a committed relationship, and he wants to fuck his wife. And so I can understand that, So yeah, fuck these, young kids who are just going around bawling everyone they see. Yeah, they should, hold back. But this guy who's been with his wife for God knows how long, let him get a little bawling. Maybe a handy here or there. I don't know. Is it just purely, they're gonna outlaw nutting? So, is it okay if the guys were to go down on women? These are the questions that they should be asking. They shouldn't just jump to the, "Hey, fuck you, I want to ball. I want to ball my wife." No, you gotta break down and see, okay, what are the practicalities here? But there is one woman, mysterious looking woman, with sunglasses at the meeting. She seems quite strange. Not the least of which, she's wearing sunglasses inside at nighttime. And, this is decades before Corey Hart. So maybe she started the whole wearing sunglasses at night thing. But I think there's something more to her. I think she might be a B-girl. One guy goes home to his wife and they lay down in bed and he looks at her and he's like, yeah, that abstinence plan isn't going to be a problem here. And she's like, if I thought it would kill you, I'd go for it. So ha ha ha, they don't have sex. Their life is in shambles. They have a sexless marriage. Woo-hoo-hoo. Then over at the bar, the guy that was yelling at the town meeting is yelling again because apparently their wages were frozen. He's not going to let them freeze anything else. God damn it, he wants to ball. Now, this is the guy that wanted to ball his wife. But he goes outside and there's that mysterious woman with the glasses. And yeah, she's a B-girl because then we see things from her point of view. And it's like, 1,000 pieces. I don't know, do bees have eyes like that? Like the fly eyes where they have like 1,000 like corneas or lenses or eyeballs. They have what is it called? God damn it. You know what I mean. The fly eye. Do bees have the same thing? Is it all like insects? They have like those crazy eyes where they're like prisms. Anyhow, that's what we get. So yeah, she's a fucking bee girl or a fly girl. But no, I think only fly girls are only on In Living Color. Deep cut. Is it that deep of a cut? I guess it depends on what age you are. If you are from my generation, it's not a very deep cut. Like, it's very famous, but I don't think it's something that really, like, went on long after. So, if you're younger, then yeah, it's probably a deep cut. Where was I? Oh, yeah, so, guy who wants to ball his wife, I guess, balled the B-girl, and he's dead. And then some other stuff happens. And I can't tell what the fuck's going on because it's dark as fuck. But someone yells that the doctor got ran over. Not by a reindeer. By a car, I think. And I think it was the doctor that's telling everyone not to have sex. So, could be a B-girl. Or it could be just someone who's got blue balls and is just like, fuck you, I'm running you over. Because I'm not letting you tell people not to fuck. Because that means I'm not getting laid. This Drive-In Classics channel that I'm watching this on has a lot of fucking commercials. Like, each commercial break is, like, insane. And, I don't know. I don't know if there's an option to upgrade to a premium. And I thought, like, oh, should I upgrade to premium and not have to deal with commercials? But do I want to pay for shitty movies? I mean, I don't use this very often for the podcast that, I earn a penny on anyhow. So it's like, the rate of interest or the rate of investment would be really, really bad on that. So, yeah, I'm just going to suck it up and sit through these commercials and probably not use this channel very often. So most of the movies you haven't even heard of, so they're not going to be really bringing in the clicks anyhow. The FBI agent goes to call the bigwigs. And since this is the 70s, of course, he has to like go to an actual payphone. He doesn't have a phone that he can just call out of his pocket. Technology's not there yet. So while he's making all his calls, the lady he was hanging out with, she's walking back to the car. Suddenly, all these no-good-nicks jump out, and they decide they want to rape her. Because they're no-good-nicks. And it doesn't help that, they're not allowed to fuck. Or they're not allowed to ball, so they got to ball unconsensually. And, then we get what I just don't like in movies, rape titties. I do not like to see nudity when it's involved in a rape scene. It feels skeezy. I want to see boobs that are there consensually. And I mean, I know technically the actress has consented to showing her boobs, but the character, I want the character to have consensually shown her boobs to me. That is all I ask for, not these forced boobies. But luckily, before the no good Nicks can actually rape her, the FBI agent comes running and he just kicks their ass and I think pretty much kills one of them or something. Then the FBI agent goes into some room. I think it was the scientist's room or office or something. I don't know. And there was a bookcase and he, moved one of the books and it opened up the bookcase because it was really a secret door. And there's another room and there's statues of naked guys and some S&M gear just strewn about. And FBI guy finds some letters and he starts reading them and I can't read, so I don't know what they say. Okay, I can read, I just didn't feel like trying to read. And then there's some guy who's looking at him behind a fish tank, and then he jumps out and punches him, and they fight, and I don't know who any of these guys are. I don't know what's going on. Seriously, I think the film's budget did not allow for lights. Because this is all just so dark as fuck. I don't know. Maybe I need to adjust the settings on my TV. Maybe that could... No. The settings on my TV are, like, super bright. Which means my TV's gonna, like, burn out way sooner, because you shouldn't have it on super bright. So, but now I'm scared to, like, turn it to, like, a slightly lower setting, because I still can't see a fucking thing that's going on in this film. So if I turn it, like, super dark, or even, like, slightly less bright, what's it gonna do? I'm not gonna know what's going on. The guy who attacked the FBI agent is the secret gay lover of whoever has this secret dungeon room. Well, it's not really a dungeon, but it's a secret room. And, I completely missed on whose room it was. But one of the guys who are dead, and apparently he's gay, and according to the secret gay lover, this person who's dead would have never had sex with a woman. Or made it with a woman, as they said. Why did they go with that? Why not just keep the whole, like, balling lingo? Like, why not ask him, like, could he have balled a woman? Oh, hells no! He gayer than a gay person that does gay porn. Now, the mystery woman who wears her sunglasses everywhere, because she's mysterious, I still don't trust her. She goes up to the doctor, scientist. I'm not really sure if he's a doctor or a scientist. I think he might be a scientist. I forget. I think he was part of the group working on this nuclear... What was it they were... It was some sort of nuclear test, wasn't it? They were experimenting. I don't know. I've forgotten. Does it really matter? Point is, she goes up to him and she says, hey, let's ball. Okay, she didn't say it like that. She offered to go out for dinner or something to talk about work or something. I don't know. She tries to be all coy, but yeah, we all know she's just saying, let's go ball. Don't do it, Dr. Scientist dude, because she's gonna fuck you to death. Or you might want to be fucked to death. Again, not the worst way to die, so, he's getting ready to go, but, his wife calls, and he's just like, yeah, fuck you, honey, I'm gonna go get balled. Well, he would be doing the balling, wouldn't he? So, fuck you, honey, I'm gonna go ball the mystery woman. Well, he doesn't say it like that, but he may as well have. And then he says to his colleague, I'm gonna find out what's underneath the Antarctic. Which, okay. I have never heard that phrase ever before in any sort of relationship to sex. or in relationship to actually exploring the Antarctic. I don't even know what it's supposed to mean. Just, is he saying that she's just a cold bitch? That frigid little bitch? I'm gonna see what's underneath the Antarctic. Just, I don't know. I don't get it. Just, that's what this movie does. Antarctic, bees, bawling. The FBI guy and this librarian girl that he's hanging out with, they're watching a documentary on insects. Because that's where his investigation has led him, I guess. He's just gone, well, all these guys are being fucked to death. So let me find out about insects, where that happens regularly in the insect world, where women kill men during sex, or after, or before. All depends on which insect. So, I don't know where this is, like, the line of thinking he's got here. Like, okay, it must be insects killing these men through sex. Or, there's a woman who thinks she's an insect. I'm just not entirely sure, like, his line of reasoning here. Meanwhile, we've got the doctor scientist. He's at the house with the mysterious woman who's not wearing her glasses, her sunglasses, so I now trust her even less. It was bad enough that she had the sunglasses all the time. Now that she doesn't have them, something's really fucking up. And she makes him eat ice cream. Maybe to fatten him up. And then they bawl. And she shows her boobs, but it's so goddamn dark that I can't see them. And that's really all this film had going for it, was me waiting to see her boobs. And you dropped the ball, B-Girls movie. But they do cut back and forth, which is kind of cool, between the documentary on insect mating and on them bawling. And, well, I only say it's cool because I once wrote a script where I wanted, like, there to be a sex scene that kept getting intercut with a documentary on insect mating. Because I just thought, like, that'd be, like, a really funny, like, miss a scene, I don't know. Some sort of fancy film term. I'm not that fancy film school nerd anymore, so I don't know. But just intercutting between the two. I thought it would be funny. I would have been playing it for laughs. This movie's treating it seriously, but I like the idea. Intercut a sex scene with a documentary on insect mating. And then there's a secret lab where all the bee girls are gathered around, and they're wearing lab coats with no pants, which, I don't know. Not being a scientist, I guess I can't, like, say for sure, but I don't know if that's the best way to science. Like, not wearing pants. Then again, I think Einstein did his best work without pants on, so maybe there is something to it. And they've kidnapped this girl, and they've stripped her naked and are covering her with some sort of goop, like they're making a plaster cast of her. You know, I mean, I've heard of making the plaster cast of dicks and stuff, but to make it of a woman's private parts, well, not really of her private parts, of her whole entire body. Or they're just, I don't know, smothering her in honey. I don't know. It's the plaster goop. They're putting plaster goop all over her, and I don't know why. I guess they're just going to make a cast so that they can create more women that look like this woman that they kidnapped. Makes perfect sense to me, and I can see why they aren't wearing pants. And so after she's sufficiently gooped up, they shove her into this room that's full of bees, and all the bees start swarming upon her. Oh no, not the bees! Not the bees! They don't really swarm on her, they just kind of walk on her, because it's obviously like a fake statue dummy, not her. But, you know, not the bees, so maybe they should remake this with Nicolas Cage and just have him, like, become a B girl. So once whatever process is done, they bring her back out and they peel the goop off, and she's there naked, and the head B girl makes out with her while all the other B girls start playing with their boobs. And I don't know. I don't know what sense it makes. I don't understand how it moves the plot. Am I complaining about it? Fuck no. This movie is awesome. Keep making out B girls and keep playing with your tits. It makes no sense why this is happening, but it's A-okay by me. They keep playing this commercial for extendy, whatever. Apparently you can get a trial with ADT, like the alarm company. Anyways, it starts off with, I don't know if this guy's like a famous baseball player or something, but they're like, the first time Carl used this glove, he struck out a dozen people, and he's got a hell of a curveball. Now he lives with prostate cancer. Which just seems like a fucking insane jump. Like, this guy has a great curveball. Now he has prostate cancer. What about his life in between? Like, that's everything that defines him is his baseball skills and his cancer. But I don't know. He might be a famous baseball player. I don't follow baseball, so it might resonate more if you know who the guy is. So the doctor scientist has been found dead. So the sheriff goes over to his widow's wife to break the bad news. But she's been turned into a bee girl, because I think she's the one that they just kidnapped. And now she's wearing those crazy sunglasses, and there's the buzzing going around, and she's trying to ball him. Or at least get him to ball her, I think would be the proper terminology. I haven't quite decided yet. But, you know, she's trying to get the old hanky-panky on. But he's not going for it, and he gets the hell out of there. Not because he suspects anything wrong. I think he's just a generally, I'm not gonna fuck a new widow. Like, I just told her, like, 10 seconds ago her husband is dead, and she wants to fuck. Not down for that. Meanwhile, the military has, like, sealed off the town, I guess. They said community, so I'm guessing the entire town is just quarantined off, because, you know, who knows what's going on? Men are being balled to death. So, gotta get on that. Can't let that spread past the community. The FBI guy is talking to some geneticist and talking about how likely it's possible to, you know, pretty much just splice humans and animals, you know, like splice a man and a horse to create a centaur, which would be awesome. I think we need a centaur. You know, in the Bible, like, God tried every animal to see, like, what Adam would want before he finally decided, I'll create a woman for him. So that means if Adam was like, oh yeah, I dig horses, he would have fucked a horse, they would have had a baby, and we would have been centaurs. But, you know, the downside of that is, the human side of a centaur is at the front, so you just wouldn't be able to jack off your glorious horse cock. So, you win some, you lose some, right? So, but one geneticist is like, you're insane, this is just crazy. While the other geneticists are like, well, yeah, I mean, I guess it's possible. With enough gamma radiation, it could happen. Which leads into his theory, you know, of bee women. Actually, I don't know if he has that theory. It's got to be that theory because he was watching, like, that video about bees fucking earlier. I don't know what led him to think bees. I mean, I could see if maybe, like, when they find the guy's corpses, they were all covered in honey. Then that make you think, like, there might be a bee possibility here. Meanwhile, one of the bee girls has enticed one of the military guys off into the woods, and she shows her boobs, and I'm guessing that, you know, she balls him to death. We don't see it, but I'm assuming that's the way these things have kind of been going. There's a funeral. I don't know for who, and quite frankly, I don't really care. Then we go back to that couple from earlier, remember, where they were like saying like, well, the abstinence not going to affect us because, haha, we don't have sex. Oh, poor married couple. I think this guy is supposed to be important. I don't know. Everyone looks alike to me. So, I don't know. They're just random people. But his wife, she's wearing lingerie and she's pretty much just tarting it up. That's a good phrase. We should bring that back. Tarting it up. Just like you got nice scams, dame. I've been working on that one. I've been trying to get that phrase back, but no one seems to want to really go with me on bringing that phrase back. But she's in lingerie and she's trying to get it on with her husband, and at first he's like not into it, and I don't blame him, because remember what she said. She said, if I thought it would kill you, I would have sex with you. Not an exact quote, because I've forgotten what exactly she said, but that was the sentiment, that, you know, if she knew that sex would kill him, she would fuck him. And I am right to be distrustful, because she takes her clothes off and he can't resist because he's a man and we're just very weak-willed like that. You spring a pair of boobs in our face and we're putty. And then you hear the humming, buzzing thing, and oh no, she's one of the B-girls! But he realizes it. Maybe a little too late, but he manages to choke her with her bra as he dies, I think. I don't know. I don't quite know how it worked out. Like, she fucked him enough to take the last... She fucked him enough to kill him, but with his last breath, he was able to kill her. I don't know. I'm still not sure why they're fucking everyone to death, either. Because the film earlier was talking about how, you know, they fuck to make sure that the queen can have babies. But wouldn't it only be the queen fucking? I don't know how bees work. I don't know how the sex life of bees works. But if the queen's the only one that lays eggs, then shouldn't she be the only one that gets fucked? I don't know. I don't know how this works. And I wasn't really paying that close attention to that nature film that they were watching earlier. So I don't know. But all these bee girls are just trying to fuck, and I'm not sure why. So the FBI guy listens to some audio recording of one of the professors talking about how bees fuck. Apparently they fuck a lot of drones and get them pregnant so one of them survives or something. And that one becomes the queen. So I think it's the same thing they do in England to determine the queen. But then the professor gets interrupted by a woman who I think is one of the bee girls. And something clicks in the FBI guy's head. And he's like, this is where the bee girl's secret base is. And he runs up there, even though it's still blocked off by the military. He just runs and gets into the secret lab and shoots a machine that somehow kills all the bee girls. I don't know what the fuck just happened. It's like the filmmakers just, shit, we don't have enough money to really film an ending. Why does he know that where the bee lair is? Who cares? Or maybe it's just... Maybe in the original script there was like an extra 30 minutes explaining how he figured it out. And they're like, this is boring. Let's just kill them off. There's enough titties in this film to carry it over. And so then a bunch of people are sitting around and they're explaining something with the gamma radiation in the air, like, made everyone sterile, so they had to keep fucking more, without really, like, explaining how they became B-girls. Are they B-girls? No, they are, because they had that funky vision. So they were part bee, or at least part insect of some sort. So granted, I wasn't paying that close of attention, so maybe they did explain it, and it just went right over my head. But I don't think they explained how exactly the B-girls came to be. Ha ha ha. Did not mean to make that joke. But so, it ends with I think the FBI guy and some girl that I think was in the film earlier, they just start fucking. Meanwhile, we get a shot of the garden, and there's some bees pollinating flowers to the tune of that song from 2001. Dun, 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 dun. Wow, that is so not it. But you know the one I talking about, 2001. Also, Ric Flair used it as his entrance music. I'm not even gonna try again. So I don't know what the fuck this movie was all about. It was terrible, but there was a lot of boobs, so I don't feel like my time was completely wasted with it. But I don't feel like wasting your time anymore. You know, I do these podcasts to save you time from watching the movies, but then you don't get to see the boobs. So then you have to like go and watch the movie anyhow so you can see the boobs. So I'm sorry, I'm no help because I cannot provide you boobs through audio podcast. So, but you know the drill, velvetOwl@hotmail.com, or leave a comment. One of these days, someone's going to email me and request something. But yeah, till next time, watch out for bees, I guess.